So I just finished reading Britney's book, A Woman in Me. This came out last year. Britney Spears got out of her conservatorship a few years ago, wrote a book about it, and I've pretty much wanted to read it since it came out. It was always something that was, interesting. You don't know how far it goes until um, you read the book. So, I had no idea just how deep this conservatorship was. I actually thought in 2022, 2023, when she was posting all these things, this is pretty weird. What she's posting shouldn't really be on Instagram. She was like half naked in some of these photos. So I thought it was strange, and like coming from an outside perspective, I always wanted to see what the point was. Just kind of in passing, I just wanted to sort of read the book. So basically the story was, I have this like library book app, which I've had for years, where occasionally I'll just download it every like 3 or 4 years and like check it out, see if there's any books on there. I was kind of looking through, I wanted to find something, the last book, and I do an English course, by the way, so this is not good. I chose the wrong course, basically. And that's genuine, like real. I did choose the wrong course. I've just realised that. Completely different, like off topic, but we'll go over that in another video. But basically, the only book I've read really this year has been Steve Jobs. And I thought it was a really interesting book. It was like that kind of biography kind of book. I got behind straight away. And it was the first book of its kind I've read in ages. So I thought, when I saw Britney, I was like, this is perfect. I'll finally get to reading this. I can't believe it's actually free, because everyone's wanted to read that book. I was surprised they even had a copy, because every other biography seemed to be taken. Anyway, I got it. Can't believe we're already 2 minutes in. This is exactly what you need to expect from my videos, by the way, guys. I'm just going to ramble. There's going to be barely any cuts. That's just how I do videos. It's how I've always done videos. I'm not going to, over process this and edit it, because it just doesn't work that way. I've tried it that way. Also, I'm way too high up. There we go. That's more like it. So basically, I got the book, started reading it. I literally finished it in probably 5 days. It was just gripping. Like, obviously it's not a nice subject. You don't want to read about, that amount of kind of freedom being lost, but like, that's obvious. See, the real part of it was like, how did Jamie Spears get away with that for so long? Like, I was absolutely stunned. How can her dad and Jamie Lynn and her mum, but obviously there's kind of like a hierarchy to it. He was the worst. He basically orchestrated the whole thing. How did he get away with that for years? How has he gotten away with it? I'm shocked. How has he walked away from that without any repercussions? He's just not the conservator anymore. He's not locked up. There's no mental health sort of sanction. What would you do to somebody that's mentally tormented somebody else for years? Clearly she did not need to be in a conservatorship for that long, if at all. So why was her dad allowed to control her finances, control her entire existence for 13 years? It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I was shocked about that, to be honest. I was just like, that is insane, and it made no sense. But reading the book kind of just helps you to see that perspective in the first place. What I also wanted to find out, because I am trying to head towards, the industry, not necessarily the music industry specifically, but that kind of whole, media industry, if you will. I want to say the Hollywood industry, but I'm in the UK. That's where I live. So that whole thing, I want to move towards that for the future, but obviously you've got to know the other side of it as well. So reading this kind of thing always helps you to sort of realize just what it's like out there. And as expected, I mean, tabloids, paparazzi, Justin Timberlake came out way worse than I thought he would. He honestly came out terribly of that book. I don't love his music. I liked one or two of his songs. What Goes Around Comes Around, and another one. Honestly, don't really rate him. I thought Can't Stop the Feeling was alright when I was 11, 12. But otherwise, genuinely, he's just a whatever artist. And first of all, not force someone to have an abortion, but to kind of coerce in that direction. He would have been, I've just turned 20, so he would have been my age or slightly younger, like a few months younger. When that happened, I can see it happening. I can totally see it happening. I can see why it happened, but it's really not good, is it? Because, you know, she went into in the book about how that affected her. Obviously, it takes two people to sort of make that decision. So obviously she went along with it, but you know, it doesn't sound good. It really doesn't sound good that she kind of felt like she needed to protect the relationship. It just didn't sound good on her part. And I've said that about 5 times, but genuinely, I haven't sat in front of a camera for ages. So how do you speak to a camera? I used to just do it naturally anyway. So yeah, Justin Timberlake didn't come out well at all. Cheating on her loads of times. The way she wrote it, she was like, well, you know, I cheated back and like made out with a guy in a bar, which could really mean anything. Like obviously you'd think that was just a kiss, but she sort of continued to circle back in the book to the fact that she cheated on him. And honestly, like something that minor, I don't think I would keep circling back to unless there was something deeper there, something more happened. So I don't know. Either way, he didn't come out very well at all, because his actions are very much not good. You know, cheating, all that kind of thing. Her dad came out terribly. I think what it also did was massively not only humanize her, but humanize the entire celebrity industry, because it really showed behind the curtain. And Britney Spears is somebody that I've listened to since I was very young, but not really in recent years, to be honest. But like, I've always liked her music. I've always, whenever it came on or whenever I wanted to put it on. You know, I like pop music, so with her music, you know, it's always been something that I've kind of connected to just the song, but never to the person. And she's always been kind of this strange case where you don't really know the person. Like, she was in that conservatorship most of my life. Like, I was thinking back, you know, I was 4 when she went into that, and so, you know, I don't even remember that year, 2008. That's how long ago it was. So there's not been a moment um, where her regular self would have been in my kind of view. So I just didn't know her as a person. It really helped to sort of develop that. But also, you know, celebrities in general, it shows behind the curtain. It shows other people's lives, and it's really interesting. I would genuinely recommend to read that book. It feels like kind of a cop out, but again, I have no idea what to say in these videos. I am getting used to it again. But what I would say is, genuinely, just, I would recommend that book. I think it was just a really interesting look into kind of something that from the outside looked completely different. You know, on the one hand, you've got, you know, the tabloids posting pictures of her cutting her hair off as if she's gone crazy, as if she's actually had this ridiculous breakdown. Fedline was an absolute, you know, he was a terrible person, you know, taking her kids away after cheating, and then, you know, he caused all of that. And obviously she reacted in that way. It wasn't a normal way to react. That's not, it was in a way, you know, a breakdown. I'm not gonna, you know, take that away from it, but the tabloids just kept on going. They kept on, you know, continuing the cycle. They made it a lot worse. And literally legitimized the whole conservatorship. So from the outside, something that seemed completely different, essentially from what everyone else sees, what we see is the media. We see the media image of what happened and what happens with every celebrity. And it turned out to be completely wrong. And the thing that's actually in recent years kind of come up against that has been social media, hasn't it? It's been like, people posting, celebrities have been posting about their daily lives, which I want to do. I want to start doing more kind of content similar to that, and just genuinely the kind of content that I do is just kind of my best content is just talking to a camera about whatever, and whenever I start doing that, I sort of am a lot more natural on camera. I'm kind of figuring out at the minute because I haven't posted in ages, but with her, she realized that quite late because obviously, she hadn't been using Instagram. And once she did, she started to really get some of that power back that was inside of her. And she started to realize what she could do, which is really interesting because social media, I'm massively against a lot of what's going on online now. Like social media companies are literally like manipulating people, engineering people to just be on all the time. It's not a good thing anymore. Social media, you can argue, was never really that great of a thing, but it definitely had its like good points. Now it doesn't, in a lot of cases it's actually just a negative on people's mental health and everything. And she actually managed, at a time when things were getting really bad for social media, to use it in like a really positive way to lift herself out of a terrible situation. Like, and also, having been through situations, I wasn't in a conservatorship, but I've been in situations very similar to what she has described in the book. It's this cathartic thing of realizing just how much of these things, even a celebrity has gone through. And not just the fact that she was a celebrity, even, because that doesn't mean anything to me, really. It's the fact that another person has gone through those things. It's definitely a good read because, I don't read much, but, if a book like that can, if I can read it in 5 days and go, yeah, that was amazing, that was definitely worth reading. It's insightful, if you have to use like a word like that for it. It gives a complete impression of something nobody knew anything about really from outside, and it actually helps people to understand their own situations as well. So yeah, definitely would recommend reading it. I'm going to hopefully publish more videos just like this in the near future. I'm going to start publishing every few days because I finally got my tripod sorted, so that's fine. My setup isn't looking great at the minute, but I'll work on it. And yeah, don't know what the next video will be. Literally, I want to just do videos solely about whatever topic it is going to be that I think about, because I kind of had to. I didn't have any notes, so I was kind of all over the place with this video. But as soon as I can start making just videos off the cuff, as soon as that sort of creativity comes back, I will, and you guys will see that. So make sure to subscribe for that. I just need to put something up, and I thought it was a really good book. So hopefully you enjoyed this video enough and just kind of get the flow of where I'm going with this channel. And I'll see you in the next video. So